All right, everybody. In this module, we're going to talk about product launch strategies for 2022. Now, this is interesting. This is a module we recorded later than the original ones that we did a few months ago. I'm actually recording this in 2022, and we had deleted some other modules and references to some other techniques that all of a sudden overnight became against Amazon terms of service. And that's one thing that we have to keep in mind with Amazon. We're not trying to scare people, but Amazon constantly changes what is okay and what is not okay. In the past, it was actually okay to do incentivized reviews, meaning that you could actually give free product to people in exchange for a review. Not only was it okay, it was actually encouraged by Amazon. One night that you couldn't do that anymore. One thing that we've been doing for years and years on Amazon, and it's been okay and within the terms of service, is using things like two-step URLs and also something called search, find, buy. These were ways to kind of let the Amazon algorithm know that, hey, these are the keywords that are important for a listing, and please get us to page one. And usually it would work like that. You could get to page one using these techniques. But what happened late in 2021 is that Amazon changed its mind and added these as kind of forbidden techniques in the Amazon terms of service. And this is something that just thousands and thousands of Amazon sellers all use. And so first of all, the first point is it's important to be able to pivot your strategies. All right. Imagine if you were one of those ones back in the day who were using incentivized reviews and your whole entire business model was based on doing these incentivized reviews. And then one day you couldn't do it anymore. You would be kind of stuck, right? And you'd be kind of in a bad place. Imagine if your only method for ranking or launching or getting to page one was using search, find, buy, or rebates or two-step URLs, things that are now discouraged to do. Well, you'd be in a bad place. So it's always important to make sure you have other strategies and plans that you can use. Now, a lot of what I'm going to talk about in this episode, I went more into detail in episode 301 of the Serious Sellers podcast. So if you haven't subscribed to that already, make sure to subscribe to the Serious Sellers podcast. We give the most latest and most up-to-date information there. And then you can go back and search for episode 301 and find out more of what I'm talking about. But let's talk about what are some strategies that can help you upon launch on Amazon in 2022. One of the first things we've talked a little bit about in previous modules already with Kevin King and myself, and that's using what we call that Maldives honeymoon strategy. A lot of those strategies are talked about in episodes 250 and 301 of the Serious Sellers podcast. But one of the core functions of that is actually choosing keywords to launch for that have a low title density score. Title density is a newer kind of metric to Helium 10. It's available in Black Box, Cerebro, and Magnet. And basically what that number of title density represents is for a certain keyword, how many listings, how many products on page one have that exact keyword phrase in phrase form in the title. Let's say you search for collagen peptides. If you were to go to collagen peptides on an Amazon search, and then you were to use X-ray or use one of the tools to check the title density, it'd probably be about 35, meaning that 35 out of the 50 listings on page one all have the word collagen peptides in it. Now, that doesn't mean it's impossible to launch or impossible to get to page one for that keyword. But what it means is it's very competitive. It's going to cost you a lot of money. It's going to take a lot of orders, and it's going to be very expensive for you to get to page one. Now, take a different keyword like, maybe coffin pencil holder or something. I'm not even sure if there's any keywords or any listings that have that, but if there are, it's probably only one or two. Now, this doesn't mean it's an absolute guarantee that you're going to get to page one. It's probably a 95% chance, but the point is, if there's only one listing that has a keyword in the title and you put that keyword in your title, you're going to have kind of an easy path to getting to page one. So that's the first thing that we've actually been talking about before 2022. This has been part of the Maldives strategy since its inception, in early 2021. But it's important to check for your product. Are there any main super hyper relevant keywords for your listing that nobody else or very few people have in phrase form in their title. And then you could put it in your title and have a really easy path to page one. Back in episode 200, when I first talked about this strategy, I did a test where I actually, just to prove how valid or how important the title is when launching a product. And I put in this really strange keyword that I knew nobody had in their title, but a lot of people were indexed for. There was a keyword that, thousands of people were indexed for, but nobody had it in the title. It actually was kind of gibberish. It didn't make any sense. All right, but I was just trying to prove a point. I wasn't trying to launch for this keyword. And sure enough, as soon as I put that in the title, guess what? Within 2 hours, that listing was page one, like position 4 for that keyword, because nobody else had it in the title. There's a lot of other factors too. Like you couldn't do that. You couldn't get to page 1, position 2 or 3 for like a 5,000 search volume keyword. But the point I was trying to prove was how important the uniqueness of your title is to the Amazon algorithm. So again, title density, guys, might be the first time you're hearing that word. Make sure to take advantage of that metric in the Helium 10 tools when you're doing your product research, when you're doing your keyword research, and that's something that can help you get to page one. Now, regardless of what the title density is, let's say there's 5, 10, 15 keywords that you have to be on page one for in order to be competitive in a niche. If you guys are using the keyword research strategy we've talked about before, about identifying your top keywords that are sending sales to your competitors using Cerebro, you're going to be able to come up with this list. You're going to know what are the top keywords that you need to get sales from. So the question is, well, how do I get sales from these keywords? How do I get to page one for these keywords outside of that title density and being one of the only unique ones? Well, here's just one of, I'm sure, many strategies that we are going to come up with for this in a world where we can't do two-step URLs and search, find, buy, and rebate like we did in the past. Here's a strategy that I used just a couple of months ago to launch a couple of kind of like fake products. I actually launched them on Amazon, but they weren't like brand new private label things that I had hundreds and hundreds of. I just needed to kind of prove this theory. So what I did was I took this product, set up the listing just like we've all talked about here in Freedom Ticket. But then what I did was I identified my top keywords, and I only chose 5. Like I said, you can choose 1, you can choose 2, you can choose up to 10 or 15, which are important. But I started with just 5 keywords, and I used the Maldives kind of strategy where I made sure a couple of them were in the title, in phrase form, and then I optimized the listing around these keywords. And I only started 1 PPC campaign. All right. In the past, our suggestions have been to always start PPC, and this is what you should do later on when your listing is already on page one for the main keywords. Is you should always start 3 campaigns at the same time, possibly 4. An auto campaign, a broad or research campaign, and an exact match campaign, plus a product targeting campaign. But with this new strategy, what I did was I just did 1 pay-per-click campaign, and it was an exact match. In other words, I'm telling Amazon, hey, show me only for this exact keyword. All right. You're going to learn in later modules what are the difference of PPC campaigns, but basically an auto campaign means Amazon is just showing you for whatever they want. A broad campaign, again, Amazon can show you for whatever they want as long as they have that core keyword that you enter. But exact match means, hey, Amazon, show me for coffin shelf. They're only going to show you for coffin shelf, or a plural form of that word. So anyways, what you do is you select those 4, 5, or however many keywords, and then make sure your listing is optimized for that, and then start an exact manual campaign. Now, you can't do rebates anymore, like I said, on Amazon. So the way to make sure that people buy your product is by setting it at a super, super low price. It's best to do that like with a sale price, or potentially with an on-page coupon. All right. There's other modules that tell you how to do both of those, with your listing. But the point is, you want to show up at the very top of page one in the sponsored results. All right. So that it's almost the first thing that people see when they search, but you're not going to have any reviews, right? And you're not going to have brand recognition. So why would somebody buy your product that has no reviews? Well, a lot of people would buy it if it's at such a ridiculously low price or super special offer that they're like, oh shoot, I'll take a chance on this product even though it has no reviews. I'll go ahead and buy this because this is what I need. So for example, let's say it was a coffin shelf, and coffin shelf was my main keyword. Well, what I would do is, let's say the coffin shelf normal price is $30. I would think to myself, well, what is the price that if somebody saw it and they're searching for a coffin shelf, they're like, I don't care, there's no reviews, I'm going to go ahead and buy this product. So let's say you decide that that price is $10. And are you losing money at that price? Of course you're losing money at that price. But whenever you launch a product on Amazon, you always have to kind of budget marketing dollars and losing money in the initial, few weeks of your listing in order to get that momentum that Kevin King has talked about before. So let's just say I decided it was $10. So maybe I'll put a coupon for $20 off, or I'll put a temporary sales price. Hey, $10, it's only $10 instead of the regular price of $30. Then I start that manual PPC campaign for that keyword coffin shelf, and I put a super high bid and I mark it as down only. This might seem completely like what the heck is bid and down only? You'll learn about this in later modules, and then it'll become clear. But again, so bookmark this and come back once you understand these terms. But I put a PPC campaign down only, and I'll try and make the highest bid possible, like $3 or $4. And that'll kind of guarantee that I'm going to be at the top. Now, what I would do right away, I don't want to have to check, every single hour. Is my PPC bid high enough? Am I showing up in the first 1 or 2 or 3 results? I'll add that product and that keyword to Keyword Tracker in Helium 10, and I'll turn on Boost. Boost is this little red rocket ship that's right next to the keyword. And what that means is Helium 10 is going to check, where are you showing up organically, like in the search results or in the sponsored PPC results every single hour of the day. And then you'll be able to know right away, oh shoot, my PPC bid, I'm only the 10th listing that's showing up way down in the search results. I need to up my bid to hopefully get that top position. But again, the point is you want to have the top or the first showing one for these 4 or 5 keywords for a certain time and get a number of orders a day. Now, here's the tricky part. And this is where it's a lot more difficult than it was in the past. And I'm sure people will come up with different strategies to help with this, is that you have to regulate how many orders you're going to get every day. How do you know how many orders for a keyword you need in order to give you the best chance to get to page 1? Helium 10 has this metric called the CPR number. It's in Cerebro. There's also a dynamic CPR number that is in Keyword Tracker. And that number represents approximately how many orders you need to make after a search for a keyword in between like 3 to 8 days to give you the best chance to get to page 1. So let's say the CPR number for coffin shelf is 80. All right, it's not. It's probably like 10 or 15 or something, but let's just say it was 80. Well, that means that probably over 8 days, I need to have at least 8 people or 10 people search for that keyword, see my sponsored ad, and then buy it at that $10 price. Now, you can't really control that. The strategies that we used to use in the old days to get people to do it, you would use services like AZ Rank and others, and then you could just tell them, hey, I need 10 people to buy it this day, I need 5 people to buy it this day, et cetera, et cetera. We can't do those kind of things anymore. I'm sure those services will have new ways within Amazon terms of service soon, but it's not easy. So what I did was I actually had a fulfilled by merchant listing. That means it wasn't FBA. I actually have my own warehouse here at my house. And so I can control exactly how many units are for sale. And I can monitor my PPC in kind of real time to see how many orders came from a certain keyword. All right. So let's say for coffin shelf, I needed 10 orders a day. Well, if I hit 10 orders for that keyword in one day, I would pause that keyword so it wouldn't show up in PPC. All right, this is very important because what if somebody shares, this link and then your product goes viral, all right? Well, you don't want thousands and thousands of people buying your product for 80% off for $10. So you've got to be able to monitor your sales throughout the day during this 1 week or 2 week launch to make sure you are not selling more nor less than what you want to do. So this was just one method that I used recently. I did it for 2 different products. Both products, I launched it against 4 or 5 keywords. Every single keyword that I was trying to rank for, I got to the top of page 1. So this strategy definitely works. And then once you're there, once you maybe get some reviews, maybe you start turning down that sale price or taking away the coupon, or then you start your other PPC campaigns because now you'll have some momentum going. So that's just one of the, I'm sure, many ways that we're going to come up with in 2022 to get some initial momentum for your products. A lot of the other things that they talk about in Freedom Ticket here, like, using press releases and doing influencer marketing, all of those are still valid, but this is kind of like one of the ways that replaces what we used to do, doing rebates and search, find, buy, and two-step URLs. Other things, speaking of URLs, another place to bookmark, and this is completely free for everybody, is helium10.com/gems, GEMS. There are different promotional URLs here that you can use to help you launch and get traction off of Amazon. Like, for example, we have something that can create a canonical URL that can be used on Google advertising so that you can rank higher on Google. There's other URLs that might be able to help you with marketing as well. For more details on what URLs those are and how they can help you and which ones you should use, make sure to go to that page and watch that video at the top of the screen there. So, after you guys have launched, make sure to let us know down below in the comments or send us a message. We'd love to know how this strategy worked out for you, or if you've used other strategies here in 2022 to get ranking. Let us know. Maybe we'll invite you on the Serious Sellers podcast and talk about your story. Hope you guys enjoyed this module and hope it's going to help you with your launch, and we'll see you in the next video.